from Wakefield. Right, we're just about ready then for the off. An important game for Sheffield Eagles. They get this one underway. Martin Kettridge with the kick-off. The driving run from Carl Harrison. That's Andy Dannett. Lovely night here in Sheffield. The sun streaming down.
I think, you know, with these two big hull props, if they start running and Sheffield give them some space, I think they could be in trouble.
First scrum goes to the Eagles. David Maiko. Now Hugh Waddle, former Great Britain international. £50,000 they paid to bring him here to keep them in the First Division. That's Kettridge. Played at Wembley with Castleford in '86. Darryl Powell. Ball. Good tackling too from Hull. This is the last tackle of this sequence.
It's a shame that the kick was a bit too strong. You know, they had a few opportunities there, a few gaps opened up, but now they can Hull can relieve the pressure by the big props coming onto the ball.
Hull restart. And the Eagles caught offside at the play the ball. Penalty to Hull.
I think the kickers today will have to be careful because of the high stands. There is a slight swirling wind here, so they'll have to make sure that the ball goes, you know, a couple of yards extra into the stands.
Yes, they have to put a bit of beat behind it. That's what Paul Eastwood did. There's Cleal. It's a good tackle from Kettridge, bringing him down. Blacker, that was Sharp, the acting halfback. Untidy ball. Hull doing well, and even untidier now. That was Carl Harrison knocking on.
I think, you know, there's no excuses for drop passes in this condition. It's a nice sunny day, nice dry ball. You know, they should, they should be more careful where they throw the ball.
Good powerful tackling. Now Hull will try and pen the Eagles back here if they possibly can. Nelson. Hugh Waddle, and he really did take the battle to St Helens last week. You may remember if you were watching our coverage. Hull caught offside this time. Sheffield Eagles need to win to ensure their First Division status. Lee are below them, but on points difference. The Eagles will stay up, and this is their last match. Lee complete at Wigan tomorrow, of all places. Sonny Nicol now. Waddle again. Dannett and Fouch doing the tackling there. That looked forward. Referee lets it go. Powell, so much depending on him tonight. And the referee says he will allow Darryl Powell to receive treatment, but he has blown for a penalty.
Yeah, I think, you know, he could have given Darryl Powell the benefit of the doubt there. You saw he was injured. He tried to play the ball, referees penalised for playing it incorrectly. You see, Crusher just throws him down on his head. And with the grounds as hard as they are, at this stage of the career, that could be very nasty. I just hope that Darrell's okay.
Well, it looks out cold, but he's having the magic sponge applied. But the referee has penalised him for not playing the ball correctly at the play the ball. A little harsh.
It was a little harsh, like I said. It was a very heavy tackle, and Darrell Powell tried to get on with the game, and he was penalised for it. The funny thing is, with the grounds this hard is, if this was winter and frost, this game would be cancelled. It's a strange situation.
There's the culprit, the Crusher. You don't argue with him. Darrell Powell, by the looks of things, recovered. As I said, so much depending on him tonight, but the referee saw, I think, that he was out almost cold and has stopped the clock, and so now restarts with this kick. What a great kick out that. Hardly relieved the pressure at all. Dannett with the driving run, stopped by Cook and Waddle. Al Harrison. Good tackling so far from the Eagles. Mackey's kick ahead. Good kick too. It makes Eagles retreat. This is Gamson collecting.
Important thing there was a good chase for the Hull players there, and it didn't allow the fullback any space at all.
They'll be anxious to keep Eagles back there if they can. Here's Sonny Nicol. I think Hull know he's a danger man. Ettridge with the kick. That swirling wind Jonathan Davis telling you about earlier on. Underneath it, Phil Windley. Dane O'Hara. Good tackling again. Is Neil Kellett. Collision of bodies. Referee says it was legal. Good work from Greg Mackey there. Saw him on the floor 1 minute and then diving in at the fullback, Mark Gamson, who was in possession.
I think one thing I've noticed with the referees are if somebody loses the ball, they tend to give a knock-on, and it's strange. I've seen a few decisions which, with the ball going backward, they've given knock-on decisions.
The scrums have gone the Eagles' way so far. It's 2-0. It's now 2-1 on scrums. Now there's a chance here. O'Hara on the run. Cleal puts the ball in field to Dannett. Not too far short of the line now. First real examination of the Eagles' defence here. Good play, good running from Cleal. Oh, he was almost, he lost his head there, almost. I say almost because the swinging arms missed him on both occasions.
He's lost the ball as well. The strange thing is, you couldn't see it on camera, but there's a lot of space on the right-hand side, and if the full-back would have got his pass away, they'd have walked in for the try. I know that they've been penalised, and they're going to relieve the pressure.
This is what happened. It's any wonder he lost the ball in that situation, desperately trying to hold on to it, Steve Hick. And there's the yellow sock of the referee watching things closely. From the penalty, the Eagles don't find touch and hold back in possession once again. This is Harrison. Good play. The dangers from this situation, Hull. When they're 5-6 yards short of the line, you can expect them to be over more times than not. But good tackling. Kick ahead was blocked. Windley's attempted grubber kick was blocked, and Sonny Nicol back in possession.
one thing again has been good defence on the Sheffield part there. Now they've got the ball. Hopefully they can get a relieving kick in after a few drives.
10 minutes of the match gone. No score. Broadbent in possession for Eagles. This is Kettridge. That didn't look like the ball was played properly, but the referee says it was all right. But that's 5 tackles gone. And the kick charged down. Well played. And Hull back on the offensive again.
It's very good play there by Lee Jackson. You know, he dived and charged it down. And now they haven't moved much, and the pressure's on once again.
Yes, Hull in possession. Bennett loads the pass well, gets Windley in. Good run from Windley, the little scrum half, looking for support. Supporterised from Jackson. Sheffield are under intense pressure here. That was Steve Folkes. Mackey. Cleal, the Crushers on the charge. Ball spills out of his hands. Who comes up with it first? Well, a knock on, the referee says. Mr. Crashley right on the spot, and this is the incident.
Well, you know, another decision by the referee there, a bit dubious. I think Sonny Nagel caught that ball cleanly, but once again the pressure is on by Hull.
Because Hull have got possession from the scrum. Now, if they sweep the ball wide here, they could be through. They elect instead to run it. John Sharp. Mackey, the acting halfback. Oh, quick hands. Lovely stuff.
Great pass there.
John Sharp. Going on his own. He's over. Greg Mackey, the try scorer, the little Australian. This is how it came about.
Well, the ball is just on Greg Mackey. He's got men over, but you know, bar defence side, two big forwards should have held Mackey. There's only a slight guy, but the determination, he's over.
Just look at those two tram lines there behind the post. We wonder up here whether Sheffield then were actually defending the wrong line. 4-0 it is though to Hull. There are those lines. It's very confusing for the players. This is a football stadium, of course. But I wonder whether the Eagles were defending the wrong one there.
It'll be interesting to see that. The thing is, there are two big forwards there, and he drove over, you know, and it'll be very interesting to see which line they were actually standing on.
Eastwood with the kick. Oh, good kick. From the wrong side as well, from the left footer. Paul Eastwood, goal number 91 of the season for Hull and for him. And that's the score. A desperate situation for the Eagles if it stays like that.
I think the one thing they have to do is try and play in the Hull half. The Hull have got very big lads in the forward there, and if it's a long way from their own half for them to run, so they've got to play in the opposition's half.
Try scorer Mackey. Good ball to Sharp. That's a good long pass to Cleal. But he likes to hit those coming forward. Oh, basketball out there, is it? Powell in possession for the Eagles.
I can't understand what Hull were doing there. You know, Brian Smith, you know, tends to keep possession, and now they lose on the first tackle there.
He will be furious, will Brian Smith. And the referee has awarded Eagles a penalty.
I think that's a penalty for holding there.
Here it is. Ball was spilled, and, well, the referee was right on the spot, gave the penalty. Can we see it from another angle, perhaps?
Well, he might have been a little bit earlier there. Mackey came in to try and cover the runner, but he might have been a little bit early.
Penalties all square. So Martin Kettridge has a chance here to put his side on the board, and psychologically that's an important moment for the Eagles. Should kick this. Goal kicker of his quality shouldn't miss these, and he doesn't. The home crowd find their voices for the first time. So does the man on the tannoy. Sheffield 2, Hull 6. Greg Mackey restarts. See those lines there? Very confusing, not only for the players but for us up here. Etheridge caught in that tackle. Pick for Hull. Eastwood. Possible roommate, Jonathan? On tour?
He's on tour anyway.
Just too far, that kick.
The thing you've noticed is, you know, when the forwards are driving up, they're going in ones and there's no support. So if they do happen to break through, there is, you know, no support there to carry the movement on.
Yes, the whole team lining up as a wall in a wall, and the Eagles will have to try and break through if they can. Etheridge will look to kick here. But Hick is watching it all the way. Oh, now then he'll have to be quick. Just taps it infield. This could be interesting. Good play from Eagles there. Moving up quickly. Powell and Nelson.
What they've got to do now, try and keep, there's a great kick and a good chase on there. You know, now they've got to keep the pressure on.
Here's the kick. It was heading for touch. Hick was watching it, and he knew it was going to go out, so he just nicked it back. We're keeping a note of the errors in play up here, and Hull have made 5, and the Eagles just the 1 at the moment. But importantly, from a Hull point of view, they have more points on the board. It's 6-2. Mackey at acting halfback. Mackey again. He's at the hub of everything for Hull. That's Steve Folkes. John Sharp. Andy Dannett. That's the 5th tackle gone. So what will Hull do here? Will they run it or will they kick? Well, they're running it. Now they kick. David Nelson collects. Just looking for support there, and it wasn't there. There was a moment when Hull looked a bit vulnerable. Richard Pixley for the Eagles. Big Hugh Waddle. Doing well. Nick Cook. Now Sonny Nicol. This fella can travel. Oh, he's dropped the ball.
So again, there's a lot of errors creeping in, and in Sheffield's case, they're doing their errors in their own half, which could be, you know, costly.
Mackey, watch for this fellow. Helped Warrington to win the Lancashire Cup and then moved up to the northeast to join fellow Australian Brian Smith at Hull, leaving another Australian coach at Warrington, Brian Johnson.
see no support again, you know, they're breaking through, there's no support there.
Cleal, sometimes he doesn't need any support, he does now. Play. There's Mackie again, score of the first try. Eastwood. This is the last tackle in this sequence now. Mackie tried to unload, and the referee will stop the clock again while players receive attention for all this, because it's a very hard ground. The ball just put out by Mackie, but it's Hugh Waddle who needs a bit of attention. Fell awkwardly on his back.
Yeah, I think what happened there, Mackie tried to offload the ball, you know, it was the last tackle, and there was a scramble and somebody must have come in, you know, either a knee or something on Hugh's back there.
This is how it happened. Mackie unloads the pass, wasn't terribly convincing. Waddle drops on it, and then, well, it wasn't the ground at all, it was the challenge from that fellow. Nelson. Eagles having trouble getting out of their own 22 at the moment, aren't they? Good tackling from Hull. Brian Smith will be well pleased with this effort that his forwards are putting in. Andy Dannett looks like he's getting through an enormous amount of work at the moment. But the hooker Jackson's the top tackler with Hull with 11. Now then, this is a good run from Pixley. And that was the sixth tackle, so the handover, and immediately Hull get proceedings underway again. The Crusher Cleal on the charge. Oh, but he's lost the ball. Sheffield Eagles say thank goodness for that. Phil Cartwright. Waddle fully recovered. Good ball. Nelson.
I think Waddell's okay now, he's back in the action anyway.
Yes, fully recovered. It's a good pass. Oh, but straight into the arms of Cleal. Paul Broadbent unloaded straight into Cleal's arms. You see it here now. Broadbent, thanks. So Hull back in possession. Dannett. The former Great Britain international Dannett won a couple of caps against the French in 1985. Nice carrying bounce for Windley, and he did well. Mackie was in support alongside him. Last tackle. And Sharp unloaded it. Goes forward. Fifth tackle, says the referee, the handover.
Windley's very clever doing this, you know, he's an expert at it, and once again, it's, you know, like, there's only one man in support there.
Tidy bounce for him, wasn't it? You make your own look at this game, don't you?
That's right, yeah.
Nick Cook. Getting the facials there, isn't he?
I think, you know, Sheffield have tightened up the defence a bit because there were a lot of gaps there to start, and, you know, I'm glad so they've come back into the game a little bit now.
I think they'd get so much confidence if they could break through and actually put the ball over the Hull try line. They'd relax a bit. They look tense. No wonder. Could be the second division beckoning for them next season if they don't do something here. Mind you, Lee would have to win handsomely at Wigan tomorrow. Now then, they forced another error from Hull there. I don't think Brian Smith will be too chuffed with the error count. Nicol. Good player, this lad.
He's strong, he's quick, and the thing, you know, there's so many errors because, you know, if you do get a hefty tackle, the ground is so hard that you're going to lose possession.
Good point. It is hard out there. Powell. 25 minutes gone. The Eagles just trailing. That was a good kick ahead. Well, we're on a soccer stadium. That was almost soccer style.
I think Dave Besson will be happy with that.
Here it is. Kick over the top. Dink. Good inside forward play in the other code. Possession. That's Steve Folkes. 6 grand finals that fella's played in Australia for Canterbury Bankstown. Good run from Windley. Naki. Kick ahead. Good kick too. Arrows between the 2 covering players for the Eagles. Mark Gamson collects. Good run from Gamson from pull back. Now then, there's possibilities here. Oh, he should have released the ball. There was 2 players in support and he was a little greedy and elected to go on his own.
Yeah, big mistake there. He had 2 men with him, you know. He should have passed and followed up in support.
What on earth was that? Paul Broadbent. It just spilled out of his arms and shot forward. I don't think Hull could believe it. The sides have put 100 tackles in and it's all square, 50-50. A lot of errors. Nicol collects though. Now then. He's the man who could unlock this Hull defence, perhaps. Hugh Waddle then picks himself up. Let's go down to touchline, and Gary Bloom is with Steve Ferris, the assistant coach of Sheffield Eagles.
Well, Steve, how do you feel it's going so far? Pretty even. Hull have got the better kicking game at the moment. If we can get our kicking game together in the second half, I'm quite sure we can win this game.
They've penned you in for long periods of this game, but you're holding them well.
Yeah, Hull have got a good set play. We've done a lot of work in training on defence. We've got some big forwards that come hard and the half-backs pretty nippy, but they've got an excellent ground kicking game near the line. At the moment, we've managed to contain that. What we really need now is to get in front. If we can get in front and get his nose in front, if we've got the wind in the second half, we should be able to contain them and push forward.
You're pleased so far, then?
I'd rather it be 6-2 to us.
Steve, many thanks.
Okay.
Master of understatement, Steve Ferris. He'd rather it be 6-2 to the Eagles. It's 6-2 to Hull at the moment. And this is Steve Hick. No. Run down the touchline from John Sharp.
I think what he got is John Sharp always runs wide and he runs, you know, just outside the centres. But they haven't picked him up so far.
Here comes Cleal on the burst. He takes some stopping, this fella. Well, they're standing at the moment. And his kick. Not going to find touch. Instead, finds Mark Gamson. Having run the second in quick succession from him. Lost his boot in the process. Meanwhile, Pixley. There he is, running repairs to the footwear for Mark Gamson. Quite a record that, played in every game. Darryl Powell. A bit quiet since that bang early on, hasn't he?
I think they've got to get the kicking game going, Sheffield. They're trying to do too much in their own half.
Here is the kick from Kettridge.
And again, there's not a good chase on. You know, the chase is very, very slow. It gives them a lot of yardage to come up.
Yes, there was no one following that up, was there? And it allowed the whole players to really pick up speed before having to face a challenge. 10 minutes to go, half an hour gone in this first half. Hull just ahead, 6-2 here at Bramhall Lane. Vital match for Sheffield Eagles. The Eagles entered the league, by the way, in season 84-85, and they've made steady progress since. 17th in the first year, then 12th, 6th, 5th. Promotion last year. They're desperate to maintain their status in the first division, to keep up that momentum and keep up that improvement every year. Windley's kick ahead. But well watched by his opposite number, Maiko. Only 17-year-old. Bill Cartwright. His fourth appearance of the season here this afternoon.
I don't think none of the sides have created many chances apart from, you know, Phil Windley's kicks there.
Gettridge unloaded the pass to Cartwright. Cartwright just forced into touch. I think it was Crusher Cleal who put him there. Oop. Bang. Hull get possession from the scrum. Eagles wanting to make a substitution. Referee didn't see the touch judge on this near side. The play continues then. O'Hara drops it. Now Eagles might be able to make the change. Referee spotted him this time.
I think the most noticeable thing in the game so far have been the errors. There's been quite a few errors on both sides.
8-5, the errors in Hull's favour, so they have not done too well. Kellett comes off, number 8, and number 15, Richard Branton, comes on. Now this is an interesting substitution. He's a lifelong Hull fan, Richard Branton. He was signed from the club, and this is his debut. Offside. Hull again has to play the ball. They've got to stand back while that movement is carried through. If they encroach, they're penalised, and that's the result. Gettridge with the kick, he finds touch.
The thing they've got to do now is, you know, just before half-time, is try and keep play, you know, in the Hull half and see if they can create something, or maybe get some points just before half-time.
Branton's first touch. Cleal won't let him up to his feet. Waddle will run and run all evening for the Eagles, if he gets the chance, of course. The whole tackling is pretty severe. That's a good run coming in from Broadbent. Now the Eagles applying a little bit of pressure here. Maiko. Again, not the support though, is there, for him? Darryl Powell. This is out nickel. Gives it to Broadbent. Last chance for Sheffield. Gettridge hits ahead. Referee says it was a knock-on, and it's going to be Eagles' head and ball.
Well, still, one good thing is, you know, they tried a different approach now. At least they're still in the Hull 25, and now they've got 6 more tackles.
Yes, they've got to get possession from this scrum, which they normally do with head and ball. And Eagles have got that possession. Important moments for them here then. There's Campson. They won't let him up until they're quite ready with their defensive line. Look. That gamesmanship and off. Well, there's that's silliness from Marcus Charles. He was Putting a bit of gamesmanship in there and not letting the man get to his feet, and then he shoved him. This is the incident. A bit of gamesmanship, I think, from Charles. A right tangle of legs, isn't it?
Well, I don't know what was going on there really, but you know, he's really unprofessional towards the end on a push, especially in front of his own sticks. You know, with 5 minutes before half time.
I don't think Brian Smith will be too happy with that.
One of the most notable things again is the fact that when they are coming up from scrum, the hull forward in attack or defence are a yard faster to getting into their position. And maybe, you know, the later on the game goes, they might benefit more from it.
Martin Kettridge, the goal kicker, his 6th goal of the season, and he's pegged the lead back. Sheffield Eagles 4, Hull 6. Greg Mackey to restart. Gamson, the man in possession for the Eagles. Cartwright. Waddle. Well, she's cooked. Kettridge with the kick. Chip ahead. Oh, the runner got a bang in the mouth there. The referee saw it. It's a penalty. Elbow in the face, says Mr. Crashley. Was he right? You can see here now.
Keep an eye on Darrell Powell. Yeah, Markey comes in. I think it was intentional. He saw that there was an opportunity there for Sheffield to make some yards, and I think it has to be called a professional foul.
Penalties have gone 6-2 in Sheffield's favour. Brenton. Now he would love to have a big game against his former club. Talking to Brian Smith before the game, he said they just couldn't quite keep him happy enough at the Boulevard. He wanted regular 18 football with a chance of the first team. They couldn't guarantee him that, so he came to Sheffield. It's an irony if he's over for a try or makes one on this important night. Broadbent. Kettridge. There he is again. Branton does well. Kettridge in support. Oh, Charles is going to swing the right arm there. Thought better of it. He saw the yellow jersey of the referee in front of him.
I think he could have seen the yellow flag as well. Brian Smith would have brought him off. He'd have done another penalty.
Waddle. Got to get through. And that's the man who could do it, but what a shame for him and the Eagles that that went wrong. But the referee has seen that the ball was knocked on. He's a bit sharp on the knock-ons, Mr. Crashley. One or two people don't agree with his decisions. But it's holes, head and ball. This is the incident. Waddle.
Great,
the pass.
a great slip there. But surely the knock-ons from Hull, the first one.
You think so? Harrison. Dannett. Forward getting through a lot of work here tonight on both sides. Cleal. Good play. Mackey. That was an Australian 1-2. It's going to be a try here. Great stuff. Mackey's try. A try that could break the hearts of Sheffield Eagles here. Cleal with the initial run. Mackey in support, and his second try of the night.
Well, you can put this try down to Noel Cleal. Watch the inside ball here. Great pass. The gap opens up for Mackey. It's a clear 35-yard sprint, you know. And he tries to get under the sticks for makes the conversion a little bit easier. A great try, but you know, Noel Cleal, great play.
There he is. He's a dustman when he's at home. Call himself a garbologist over there, but it's dustman in English. And Greg Mackey, well, he's a try scorer in English. With the determination on his face. Great try. support play from him and just bringing the ball round nearer the posts to aid the kicker.
That's right, yeah, you know, as a goalkeeper myself, you know, I do appreciate when you see players when they go into the sticks, because it makes the conversion so much easier. And on this day and age, conversions and the 2 points are very, very important.
Could be the difference, you know, between relegation and survival. That's the sort of aim he has to take. Left-footed kicker, but a good left-footed kicker. Paul Eastwood, tourist with Jonathan Davis this summer, Papua New Guinea and New Zealand. And Sheffield Eagles 4, Hull 12, and we're into stoppage time in this first half.
A bad time to, you know, concede a try there. They would have gone in at 2 points, but now they're going in, you know, with an 8 point difference, which is, you know, sad.
Etheridge restarts then. Dannett with that driving run. They're looking busy now, Hull, aren't they? Look as though they're in the mood. Perhaps the half-time hooter will come at the right moment for Sheffield. Gary Hetherington in the dressing room can have a word with them and get things sorted out for the second half. But after fourth spot in the table, Hull, their great days are behind them, of course. Had a glorious run in the early 80s, and they finished second, top and second in 3 seasons and went to Wembley twice. Brian Smith rebuilding on Humberside, and appearance in the Premiership final last season, indication of the quality that he's building up there in the northeast. Deep in stoppage time now in this first half. Pixley trying to get something going on this left wing. There's half-time. And the half-time situation, not a good one for the Eagles of Sheffield. A lovely evening here in Yorkshire. But there's the fellow who has destroyed them in the first half, Greg Mackey. 2 tries from him that give us the half-time situation of Hull 12, Sheffield Eagles 4. More of the second half to come. An important 40 minutes lie ahead of him and the Eagles. Jonathan, as Hull restart, can the Eagles come back?
Well, I think they've got the win in the second half, and they've got to make use of it. They've got to play in Hull's half, and you know, hopefully wear them out and get a few scores on the board.
Interesting early moments of this match, and that's Farrell with his first touch. Penalty for the man rushing in right under the nose of the referee. Carl Harrison, the offender. This is the incident. A wrestling match going on between Windley and Kettridge, and the big prop forward Harrison came in to sort things out in his own fashion. Cook, Waddle, not making many inroads into the whole defence, is he, Waddle, this evening? Not like he took St Helens last week.
No, I don't think, you know, I don't think that the heart is in it at the moment. You know, they've got to try and get over the advantage line and go from there.
Thunderous challenge on Neil Kellett, and the touch judge having to come in to separate the warring factions.
I think there's a crunching tackle coming up here. He takes a short ball and he's taken out.
Stopped dead in his tracks. The ball spills out of his hands, and so Hull have head and ball, and they have possession from the scrum. Paul Eastwood. Mackey.
The thing in, you can see that the Hull forwards are making, a lot more yards than the Sheffield forwards.
Cleal underneath all that. He's the man who created that second try. This is Jackson. They must get their appetite, the Eagles, for this. And they have, courtesy of Petridge, but immediately they released the ball, and another error, an unforced error too. And right at the start of a sequence of 6, they've released possession to Hull. This is how it came about.
Yeah, it's just, bad play on Petridge's part. Now he gets the ball, and he's got 5 more tackles to go, and then he spills it.
Mackey in possession for Hull. Damn it. He's got through a lot of work tonight. Top tacklers, by the way, in that first half. Harrison, Jackson and Sharp for Hull with 19. And Broadbrent and Cook. Broadbrent with 17, Cook 15 for Sheffield Eagles. Dannett again. And it burst his way through. Ball dropped again. Oh, and again. Well, errors on both sides. Referee won't allow that to continue.
Once again, the two Hull props, Dannett and Harrison, 2 drives and they made about 30 yards. That is the main difference at the moment.
Either way, the ball is dropped on both sides, resulting in this scrum. Well inside the Sheffield Eagles quarter, and the scrum collapsed, and the referee said that that was the fault of the whole pack, and so it's a penalty to Sheffield Eagles.
Well, I think any decision could be made here, and the referee was the closest to it.
The mess underneath there. The 2 hookers have gone down in a heap.
I don't think any front row wants to collapse the scrum, but it's very, very dangerous.
Waddle in possession then for Sheffield Eagles. Forward on the charge is Dannett. Well too. Looking again for support, and Sheffield are just simply standing round and not coming and helping the big prop forward out. Little kick ahead, that's better. But Steve Hick is there for Hull. Turns away well, but straight into the path of Pixley, who pulls him down. Darrell Powell, rather, who pulls him down. Have got the ball back. Waddle again, driving his way forward. Sonny Nicol, a quiet first half by his standards. Been watched well by the Hull defenders. Petridge. Again, the ball's gone to ground.
Yeah, nobody can seem to hold possession, and possession, if you've got possession, you tend to control the game. There's been a lot of turnovers, in a short space of time right in the second half.
Mackey, Cleal. The ball would run too. Goes Harrison. Oh, that looked forward, and that did too. The referee will surely blow for a knock-on anyway.
Well, you could take your pick there from forward passes, I think.
Look too, the referee was there. That was the first one in our book, and that's the second.
Yeah, definitely forward.
Sheffield pinching a few yards there after that tackle. There's the substitute, Anthony Farrell. Cook.
Good run there by Farrell.
And there he is. Plays anywhere.
And if you're in this Sheffield side, I think anybody can play anyway, because they're putting six different venues down there.
This is Dickinson. Oh, good play. Keeping it going well. Nickel. But that was a forward pass. They're trying to do desperate things. I know it's a desperate situation they find themselves in, but they're trying to do so many difficult things. They're not keeping it simple at all.
That's right. I think they should try and keep possession and play in Hull 25. They had the opportunity there, get a few tackles to go, but then they try and spill the ball, and now it's Hull's head of ball.
Andy Dannett is taking a well-earned breather, and Paul Wellham, with number 15 on his back, is coming into the action. Dannett did well, good runs, good tackling, 15 in all. This has been the star of the show. 2 tries from him. Let me up, he says. Here's Wellham, first touch for him. Hull have got through over 100 tackles. I believe it was about 21 less. Penalty to Hull, not being allowed to regain his feet, the man who was tackled. There's the substitute, Paul Wellham. The second row forward by trade. Penalty to Hull, which Eastwood deposits into touch. O'Hara with the run, stopped by Waddle and Cook. Wellham, good tackling. Yes, welcome to the fray, Mr. Wellham. Noel Cleal. Those runs of his have been a feature of the match. They led to that second Mackey try. Jackson, Windley. This is John Sharp. Windley again. Now Cleal. Oh, he takes some stopping, doesn't he? Unloads the pass to Windley, and he does well, but oh, straight into the arms of David Nelson.
I think with Cleal, he's deceptively fast for a big man.
Terrifying sight, I would think, if he's coming straight at you with the ball under one arm.
That's right, yes.
There he is. Fierce sight.
Once again, they've lost the ball in their own 25, and I feel that Hull are putting a lot of pressure on. I think there could be a try on the way.
Long pass out from Mackey. That's Eastwood. Put in touch. The touch judge. Right there. This is it. Long pass out from Mackey, and put in touch there. Runs have gone Hull's way. That one went Sheffield's, but they're still deep inside their own quarter. Well done. That was Cook keeping things alive, bringing Dickinson into the play. Now they must come up here and put pressure on Hick if they can. Still a bit slow to come up, giving him the chance to gather momentum, gather pace.
The chase is very, very slow now. He run there 20 yards before maybe have to make a tackle.
Marcus Charles. This is a good run. He's only got one man to beat here, the fullback. Ganson, and he's round him. And he just had his ankle tapped. Drops the ball as well. He'll be furious.
Well, that was a great run by Marcus Charles there. It's very, very unfortunate that he lost the ball and lost his foot and then lost the ball.
Here we are, the tracking shot on the Sports Channel, going pace for pace with Marcus Charles. Good run from him. Bobbed inside, round the full-back, tapped the ankle, down he went, and the ball just sneaked out of his hands.
I think, he was going for the post then. If he'd have veered out, I think he'd have gone there. It would have been a great try.
Yes, he went possibly the wrong way. Last chance for Sheffield Eagles to do something. They kick ahead, but gathered in by Windley. Quite impressive, the two halfbacks, Windley and Mackey. They have run the show here. Mackey's done more than that. He's scored the 2 tries in the first half, and he's in the thick of the action again here, and bang for his pains there. Jackson doing well from dummy half. Windley, Cleo.
The same combination again. Cleo on the charge and Markey sniping behind him.
This is Harrison. Oh, it's easy. It melted away. It absolutely melted away, the cover, and Carl Harrison over for his second try of the season. Windley, the man with the pass. Harrison at full pelt underneath the sticks.
I don't think many people, would have fancied being in Michael's place there. A small scrum half and a big propping at you. 2 yards from the line, you haven't got much of a chance. But well finished by Harrison, and I think that's finished the game as a contest.
From 12 yards, he wasn't going to be stopped, was he? And he's right underneath the black dot, and so it's easy. Or comparatively easy for Paul Eastwood, a goal kicker of his quality. That's the way it stands at the moment. I think Hull are going to increase that lead by 2 points in a few moments' time. Big effort from Carl Harrison, but there's the distance and the angle. Well, there is no angle. He's right in front of the sticks. The goal kicker of Eastwood's quality should pop this one over. Very easy for a kicker of his quality. You'd like a few of those yourself, would you, in a match?
Yeah, well, they're the best ones, You shouldn't miss any of them, really.
Hull are going to make a substitution here. With that scoreline, Sheffield Eagles 4, Hull 18. This, I suppose, will give Lee a bit of heart for their battle tomorrow against Wigan. But Wigan, of course, have got the small matter of a First Division Championship to win. Lee will know after this, if it stays like this, that if they win, well, they will stay up. The substitution made. Chico Jackson is on, and John Sharp is the man who's been withdrawn, the loose forward. Interesting at the bottom, isn't it now?
Very interesting thing is that they haven't played the same 5.5 Sheffield in the second half as they did in the first. I think they're hoping, banking on Wigan to do the job tomorrow against Leeds.
Alex Murphy, of course, will be stoking the boilers in the Leeds dressing room tomorrow. Here, though, it's a question of whether there's any comeback for Sheffield Eagles. Cleal, who really has destroyed them up front, does well again, unloading to Windley.
It's amazing the amount of confidence that trying to the post instills to a side.
Mackey with the kick. Hull have moved up quicker than Eagles do, and that's the result. Well, let's get a Hull viewpoint on all this. Steve Crooks is the assistant at the Boulevard alongside Brian Smith. He's talking now with Gary Blue.
Well, Steve, I imagine you're delighted with the position now.
Yes, obviously scoreline suggests we're doing well, but that's why for where we've performed. We've been a bit disappointing to our standards, what we set ourselves, and we're looking to pick up on it in the last quarter.
Got 12 points daylight now between the teams. That must please you.
It's good, yeah. Obviously, gives us a bit of a cushion, all like that, but there's still no room for any complacency. A team like Sheffield, they're renowned for the scoring abilities, and they're playing very well. Playing very well. I don't think the scoreline suggests how well they have played.
Many thanks for joining us, Steve.
Thank you.
And Gamson collects for Eagles.
I think they're playing a pressure game there. You know, the Sheffield kicked the ball down and Steve Hicks just returned the ball, and there's a good chase on there with the Hull players.
Hull on a bit of a roll before this one. They've won the last 7 league matches. They've only won 4 of their 12 away games this season. So that's perhaps the reason why they're not up there challenging Wigan for that title. It's better from the Eagles. This is Dickinson. But he's going nowhere with Cleal all over him. Powell, good player Darryl Powell, club's first signing. Ketteridge, another error. Is that Ellery Hanley on the field? He looks a bit like him, doesn't he, from a distance? Same haircut anyway.
That's right, yeah.
Well, they're getting through some work, aren't they, the two sides? Sheffield Eagles 100, Hull 118. A lot more than that, I think, before the end of this one. Lee Jackson. And Lee Jackson, the top tackler, with 27 tackles for Hull.
I think now Hull are closing the game down. You know, they're playing in Sheffield 25 and putting a lot of pressure on them, and it seems you know, very unlikely that you know, they're going to score 2 tries from their own 25.
Yes, it's not been a spectacular performance from Hull, but it's been a highly efficient one for all of that. 18-4 they lead. Poor old Richard Branton, the number 15 there for Sheffield Eagles field. He's a lifelong Hull supporter. He would really have loved on his debut here to have picked up a couple of points that would have absolutely guaranteed Sheffield Eagles their safety. Good pick up from Hick. One-handed. Ran through the challenge like it wasn't there. Didn't get through that one though, and I think he felt that. The referee asked him if he wants to release the ball and allow someone else to carry on, and he does. Hick, look, ooh, shoulder in his side, legs all over the place.
Good run there though, you know, same again, the chase wasn't very good from there.
That's the 1-2 again. Mackie, so busy, little standoff. This is Chico Jackson. Oh, but a forward pass, says the referee. So it's scrum down, and that will relieve the pressure for the moment anyway on Sheffield. It is good driving run.
Yeah, same run again, you know, but straight forward pass. A good cover there again, good defence.
I think it only was a yard forward. But it is great run from the substitute. Yes.
I think Marcus Charles, you know, he's been there a few times. He might get over before the end of the game.
Hold up in play as well. He felt his back early on, you may remember if you were with us earlier. He got some attention when he got a knee in his back, and it looks like it's not recovered. So Waddell, or Waddle as he prefers to be known, goes off, and Paul Broadbent will come on. Waddle shaking his head, feels the pain, and Pick is coming off for Hull, and Dannett is going back on. Andy Dannett going back on to the back. The substitutions from both sides. Meanwhile, there's still a break in play, as That man receives attention, and that's fullback Hick. The referee wants him off, I think, before play can restart. Of course, with him on, there's 14 irregular black and white hoop shirts on the field, so the referee just waiting for a moment before Hick is held painfully off the field. It's in a bit of trouble, doesn't he?
Yeah, looks very nasty indeed. That a few men came on top of him, and hopefully he's done nothing serious.
Well, he's going to take no further part in this one. A lot of trouble, doesn't he?
Hopefully, there won't be a break there or any ligament damage, just partly bruised. Hopefully he'll be okay. I doubt if he would have had a break, then maybe they would have stretched him off.
Well, let's hope not. He goes off anyway. Steve Hick, we're back in the action. The clocks restart. Sheffield in a familiar position for them underneath their own sticks here. Cook. Underrated member of this Sheffield Eagles side. His coach rates him one of the best number 9s in the game. Don't seem to be able to make any space at all for themselves, Sheffield Eagles. They're being smothered every time they get it. Powell. See, every time it reaches the hands of a danger man, Hull are there in numbers. And this is the last chance for the Eagles to do anything in this 6. Oh, another mistake. Tony Nicol.
Well, same again. He should have had a kick in there and put it down Hull's half to the field.
Yes, they elected instead to run it, didn't they?
Now they're under pressure once again with a big Hull forward coming at them.
Pressure all the way for Sheffield Eagles. Hull really have pushed them back in this second half. And here's Harrison, scorer of the second half try. 18-4, Hull are ahead. Here's Dannett back in the thick of the action. It's untidy, isn't it? Dusk coming to this particular part of Yorkshire. That's the view from our camera high up on the floodlight pylons here. And the locals just a little bit quiet at the moment. They know that their side's in a bit of trouble. They've had their moments, the Eagles, this season. They've beaten Widnes earlier on. Jonathan Davis won't like me for reminding you about that. And there's an attempted drop goal, and he's got it. That was Greg Mackey, who really is being the man of the match here. 2 tries in the thick of the action, and now a drop goal. 19-4 it is as a result of this.
Well, on the last tackle, and there's no options. Drop a goal, 1 point, and they regain possession again. At the other end of the park.
Quick thinking by the little Australian. Came over here earlier this season from Warrington to helping them win the Lancashire Cup.
See, another bad chase again. A good kick off, to go forward, and yet again he makes 30 yards before the first tackle comes to him. I think the heads are down now, and this could be a romp now.
We shall see. Hull are still in the mood. The Sheffield Eagles will have to tackle manfully to keep them out. 19-4, they are ahead. Hull. They look like a side that's lost 4 of its last 5 league matches to me, Sheffield Eagles. There's no doubt about it, winning is a habit, but Jonathan, losing is a habit as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's such a difficult game, you can go either to the top, one of the top sides or the bottom side, but once you get into a rut, it's very, very difficult to come out. And the bounce of the ball now seems to go the other team's way every match.
Head and ball again for Hull. And the inevitable possession. Mackey again, inevitably. Good little player. Oh, well picked up on that far side. That was the substitute Chico Jackson. Steve Folkes, the Australian. Jackson again, Lee Jackson this time. Cleal. Oh, dear me, does well to get the pass out as well. Fearsome sight when he's at full pace, Noel Cleal. There he is again. Almost conjuring a try. They'll have to heave him back, and they do. Lost it. And Mark Gamson collects for the Eagles.
And the great thing about Noel Cleal is he commits a couple of players, but always seems to offload the ball to a player in space.
All broadbent. They really are in deep in trouble here, the Eagles. They're going to have to conjure something up. That looked as though it was obstruction. The referee saw it, and it's a penalty. Kick ahead.
I think Darrell Powers, noticed that there aren't many gaps there, so he tries to chip, and he got a professional foul again.
Certainly have singled Darrell Powell out for some treatment here tonight at Hull. You know he's the danger man. Penalties. 9-3 in Hull's favour. Nickel, good tackling again from Hull.
Yeah, Sonny Nickel's been very, very quiet in this game. Usually his work is very, very much higher, but not in this game.
No, Sonny Nickel and Darrell Powell, they've both had quiet games. I don't think we need to put that down to their inability to get going here. It's just that Hull have watched them so closely, so carefully. Here he is again, Powell. Broadbent. Making much yardage. This is the last of this sequence. Now Powell has stepped inside. Good jinking run from him, looking for support. Is it there? It is. This is Dickinson. Dickinson looking for support, keeps it going. Cook is smothered completely underneath that lot. There is a Sheffield Eagles hooker. There he is. And it's a handover after 6 tackles. We're tucked up nice and dry in the roof of the stand here, but out there the players are having to play in a bit of a hailstorm at the moment. 10 minutes of the game's ordinary time, that is without all the stoppages, and there's been a few of those in this second half. 10 minutes to go, and here's Paul Eastwood. Great run from him. Now he's a quick boy. Just missed. And Sheffield forced into touch. David Nelson.
A great run there again, he sort of went round his man as if he wasn't there. Good defence for the full back.
Here's the kick and chase.
There we go. Great, good defence by Gamson. He just gets the ball first. But the unfortunate thing is, Nickel picks the ball up and he's thrown into touch, which keeps the pressure on for Hull again.
And yes, the pressure is on, and when this fella's in possession, the pressure's always on. He scored. Noel Cleal had a spell at Widnes in 85-86. Australian clubs Easts and Manly now doing the business for Hull and putting Hull into an unassailable lead here, I fancy.
Yeah, takes the ball in the burst here, and I don't think nobody wants to tackle him. He just rolls on through. There's a few attempts there for a tackle, but you just don't go higher before this crusher clears.
He swats them away like flies, doesn't he? Look at him, there's 3 hanging on to him, and he still forces his way over.
You've got to go low for a guy of his size, a couple of yards from the line. You've got to go for his leg.
1986 tourist. Perhaps his best days are behind him, but don't tell them that on Humberside. Sheffield Eagles 4, Hull 23. I think the game's up for the Eagles. And now they just must wait and hope that Wigan do the business against Lee tomorrow and they will stay up on points difference. The hail is coming down even harder as Eastwood lines this one up.
What a better way to spend an Easter Sunday.
It's all right if you're 23-4 ahead, as Eastwood is. Very dejected punch underneath the post there, and he's kicked it. Good kick from Eastwood. That's why he's on tour this summer. 4 out of 4 for him, and a well-deserved mouthful of refreshment. 25-4 to Hull. Ryan Smith will be delighted. Gary Hetherington will not be pleased. And Cleo coming off after that effort, and John Sharp coming back on. And coming into the hail. Look at that. It's an unpleasant night all of a sudden here in Sheffield. The sunshine was out when we arrived. They say it shines on the righteous. It's coming down in torrents. Not too pleasant. Nice and warm up here. Quite dry too.
That's right, yeah, that's important. It's very, very dry.
Windley and Mackey. And this is Sharp. Seeing an early touch after coming off the bench. Nice play. Keeping the movement going. Good tackle. Keeping them out. But for how long? This is the last tackle. Windley, Mackey. This is a man out, Folks, and then another error. It was the 5th tackle, the referee says, so in that case, no need for the scrum, despite the knock-on. It will simply change over.
I think, you know, they were lucky there because they put a few men over, and it could have been yet another try. I think the Sheffield lads now are really looking forward to the end of the season so they can start again, you know, next year.
We'll just get the prayer mats out and hope, as I say, that Wigan do their stuff against Lee tomorrow, and Lee then will go down. It's a great little success story in many ways, the Sheffield Eagles story, despite the fact that they're here tonight and hoping against hope against relegation. They only formed about 4 or 5 years ago. They progressed to the 2nd division. They got into the 1st division, but they just haven't had the legs, or that was a knock-on, by the way. You can see there they haven't had the appetite is the wrong word to use, but they've just not had the chances to climb up the 1st division table. There's the times in possession pretty even, but as far as Hull are concerned, they've turned their 37 minutes to far better use. Hull keeping things going here. Lee Jackson.
The thing is now, you know, all the Lee forwards are looking for, all the Hull forwards are looking for work again, and you know, it looks as if they're going to go for another try.
The Eagles will have other ideas. If they defend stoutly and resolutely here, they'll keep them out, but have Hull got the guile to force another try? Well, not on this occasion. Dickinson picking up, but the ball had been knocked to the ground earlier. And I think it's a Sheffield knock-on. So that means that, again, Hull will have the head and feed. So more pressure on the Eagles. Sharp on the run around. He's in. Oh, it's easy.
It's very, very easy. You know, picked up from the scrum. Scrum half run wide, and then you know, the Sheffield scrum half went, was nowhere inside. Easy.
Yes, the cover just was melted away.
One of 3 could have scored a try there. You had Sharp, you had Murphy on his outside, and O'Hara on the other side. So you know, any one of 3 could have scored.
Very easy try. No cover, look. Just one pursuer. and it was over easily. John Sharp, the try scorer. 3 minutes plus stoppages to go, and 29-4. I think it's all up for the Sheffield Eagles. And there's a fairly dejected group of players. Not happy, are they? No wonder.
I think they prefer if they were watching the game as well, I think.
I think they were for that try. So Eastwood again, he's got a 100% record tonight. 4 out of 4. This should be 5 out of 5. Kicked well, but it's mostly been fairly easy. The angle he's got. On the right side for him. Straight through. So they've topped the 30 points, courtesy of that goal from Paul Eastwood.
Just as I feared, towards the end of the first half, they looked very, very tired, the Sheffield team, and they've turned into a slight rout.
Yes, 31-4 to Hull. Sheffield Eagles rounding off their season with a heavy defeat here at Bramall Lane. New venue next season for them. Let's hope some new fortune and new luck.
I think, it'll help them that they can have a home ground where they can call their own. It'll make a difference. They won't have to travel everywhere.
That must be a nightmare for them, to be fair. This is the 7th ground they've used this season. They haven't got anywhere to call their own home. It must be a tremendous strain on the club and the players.
Yeah, especially, you've got to have a base, I think. And, next year, hopefully they'll have better fortune.
Except on the 2 occasions they meet witness at this day, right?
That's right, yeah.
We've got another scrum on the way here because of that. Cook has got through 38 tackles here tonight, by the way. There's the scrum count. It's gone Hull's way, hasn't it, in every department of the game. Now, consolation perhaps for the Eagles. This is the substitute, Anthony Farrell. Oh. He's still shrugging them off, but he won't shrug that fellow off. Powell. Leading Broadbent. Broadbent going nowhere, though. Oh, another error. That's been the story of their night. This time, Gamson dropping the ball. And here it comes again.
Yeah, I think Dal Powell has, played his heart out, but nothing's gone right for the players who are, running off him, really.
Well, to say it's an error-strewn match is an understatement. 17 errors for Hull and 12 for Sheffield Eagles. Far more, I think, than the coaches of both sides would want on an ideal night. Good win for Hull this is. Makes them 8 wins in succession at the end of this season. But it's not been a convincing performance from them at all. This fella's had a good game, though. Greg Mackey. 2 tries, a drop goal. Always busy little player. Busy bee. Windley. Eastwood. We're a minute into overtime here. This is the last of this 6 tackles. Mackey's having a pot shot again with the left foot, and he's got it, Well, he's the man of the match for me. 2 tries and 2 drop goals, Greg Mackey.
I think that just shows what a good couple of Mackey is. He's going over with his right foot. I think he's just showing off. He didn't need the point, but he just slots it over, really.
32 points to Hull, 4 to Sheffield Eagles. Not pretty reading if you're a Sheffield Eagles fan. Ketteridge to restart. Gary Hetherington's got a lot of hard work to do in the summer, hasn't he? To build up the confidence for the start of the new term.
Yeah, I think they'd be happy if they're still in the first division. They'd be very happy. You know, they've tasted it for the first time. They know what it's like. So they'll have a little bit of experience now. A lot of people wrote them off and said that they'd be back in the second division. So, you know, it's an advantage that they, well, might be still in the first division next year.
Yes, they have to, as we say, they have to wait now and see what happens at Central Park tomorrow, Wigan against Lee. By the way, tomorrow we are at Oldham. We're dropping into the second division for the top of the table clash. Oldham against Rochdale. 3:15 the kick-off time. There's the hooter. It's the end of the season for Sheffield Eagles. They've been beaten and beaten well here. 32 points to 4. And Greg Mackey, the man who has engineered this victory for the early birds of Hull. Good player, Mackey, and Hull will now mean this victory for them means that Widnes have got to do something tomorrow.
Yes, you know, they're hoping now that Widnes will slip up and that they'll sneak into the top 4, you know, to get a home draw. But, you know, I just hope that we have a good result tomorrow on. You know, I look forward to, you know, getting held down at Norton Park.
So, Jonathan Davis will leave us now and go off to Widnes against St Helens tomorrow. The sports desk on the Sports Channel follows the end of our programme. Hope you enjoyed our coverage from Bramall Lane tonight. They're happy, the Hull supporters. 32-4, Hull have beaten